Hi, my name is Jeff Johnson. I'm the Faith Formation Director at Immaculate Conception in St. Anna. And suddenly, joyfully, I am also your Confirmation Director, starting this week. And how excited I am Wednesday to think about heading up to teach my three little dudes, as I call them, my second graders, in St. Anna. And after that, I will head up at 7 o'clock to Holdingford and start looking after your teenagers and making sure that they finish things and get to that very important sacrament. You know, I'm teaching now currently 4 different classes at 2 colleges, and I have been trying to keep the chins up of over 100 disconsolate teenagers and young people who want life to go back to the way it was before life, as I sometimes think of it, before the pandemic. And it's human to want to do that, to want things to go back to quote-unquote normal. But I want to make some comments before I get this quick video going that I made on the first day of this particular school year when I told all my students, look, literature is replete with examples of characters who looked over their shoulder when they were told not to. I think often of Orpheus because I teach classical mythology, among other things. And you might know that the story of that Greek character. He lost his beloved Eurydice to Hades. She angered some god or other. And then he decides, I'm going to go down and get her. I'm going to go down into hell and get her. And he strikes a deal with Persephone, who says, you can have her back, but there are conditions. You need to lead her up to earth, but you cannot look over your shoulder at her. Do not, or you will lose her forever. Well, it's almost because he's been told that he can't look over his shoulder that he does. And he turns and she's vanished. He loses her forever. She's gone. We could think too of Lot's wife. We all know what she did. She was told, head away from this wretched city and do not look back while she's got a peek. And then she begins a new life as a pillar of salt. Ouch. I told my students that a far more charming plot and a finer story can be found if we ponder just briefly. Elisha, remember that dude? He was just minding his own business, plowing a field one day. And Elijah comes up to him in the Old Testament from behind, throws a cloak over his head, and that's it. He realizes that his old life is over, and then he's going to begin a new life and pick up the torch of being a prophet, burns all of his equipment, and heads out, not looking back. My teaching life this past March was transformed along with all my brother and sister educators across the state of Minnesota and everyone in my English department at Central Lakes College, for instance. We're all teaching remotely. Early in the deal, I realized, okay, there's basically 2 options for someone who's going to try to continue to serve young people online, remotely. Option 1 is asynchronous. That's what we call it. It's a fancy word for just posting up work. And then you do what? I don't know, go sit at the end of your dock and wait for the work to come in? That is not the answer for me to the question, what is a real education? A real education for me is all about the interaction between teacher and students, because that's where we transform and inspire each other. With that always in mind, I have now for months been teaching live Zoom classes. It gets a little tiring, but I do it 3 mornings a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and my students are so happy because most of their teachers are just going the asynchronous. I'm synchronous. We can see each other, we can hear each other, we can have conversations, I can present. And it's not optimal, but neither is sickness or death. And I'm trying to reinvent myself as an online teacher, even though I'm an evangelist for the classroom. A little word to the wise, too, for all my parents, because you've obviously got children in school. If the virus gets angrier, and it surely might, it seems like it already is, if your schools, elementary, middle school, and high schools go remote, like my son's school did just this week, Andover High School, where my son Jeffy teaches, do not let the teachers just post up work, because then it's just going to be a child and a computer. Push back. You mustn't let that happen. You must not. Demand that your teachers engage your children on a daily basis in a quality way, live. They can do it. It's not that hard. They can use Zoom or they can use Google Meet. Now, I'm on what I think of often as Team Masty. And all of, you know this, all of Father Gregory's employees, like me, our heads have just been in this wheel-spinning exercise. How do we serve our families? How do we serve the children of our families and continue to offer a first-rate, high-quality faith formation program? Thank you so much. Most of you, all of you, have opened your hearts to the idea that a home program can work, to the idea that an education always begins with the home, with the church at home. And we are really clapping for you and for the efforts that you've made so far. Regarding Gift Night, which is kind of what the main thing that this video is about, I'm going to try to get you to open your heart to a few things. You know that if you like, you can come and distance yourselves out. And we did it this past Wednesday. We had families on the first floor at St. Mary's. We had families in the basement. And we had 63 families beaming in with Zoom, which really warmed our hearts. And just a couple of things. On our end of it, on my end of it, necessity dictates. I need to not only reinvent myself as an online teacher and an online faith formation director, but I need to turn into a videographer. And it's kind of a slow start, but we at least eked out our first transmission Wednesday evening. Father Gregory and Kristen Molitor and I met the following day to just kind of debrief and talk about what went well and what could go better. And we're just going to kind of keep plugging away. Now, on our end, on my end, because I'm running the equipment, this next time out, when you come to Gift Night, we're going to take the families that are beaming in with Zoom, and we're going to project you on a screen. I'm going to set up my big screen, get my laptop down there with a projector, and we're going to get all of the families up on the screen, so people in the churches, up and down in the church, can see everyone. You can build community with technology. I've proven it. I've got a classical mythology class that's like a family. They love each other, and they love that I'm making the effort. We can do the same. We can stay together as a community, sticking with each other, using the technology appropriately. Now, on my end, I've got to do a few things. I've got to get better at toggling, right? Because you can only have 25 Brady Bunch Zoom squares on the screen at a time. So I've got to go back and forth and not forget about the people that are behind. It's layered. There's a strata to it. And I will get better at that. Tiny request. Please turn your cameras on. Please turn your cameras on. We don't care if your house is messy or if your hair is mussed up. We don't care. We only had about 15 families or so with their cameras on, but Kristen and I were talking about just how heartwarming it was to see people in their homes, in their kitchens, in their living rooms with their Bibles out, and it would be great to see everyone. And again, I'll keep toggling back so everyone can see everyone as much as possible. We can stick together. Maybe think about having some paper in front of you and your children. When Kristen asks a question, and she asked a few this last Wednesday, what's your favorite Bible story? If you've got a marker or even a crayon and a piece of paper, you could quickly write out Moses and the Ten Commandments and hold that up so we can see it. I saw hands going in the air. I think that would be fun. We got to make it as interactive as possible. We don't want you just watching us like a show. Use the chat feature, okay? It's there for you to use, and I will do a better job. I resolve to do a better job at monitoring it and making sure that you're heard when you want to make a comment, when you want to ask a question, when you want to provide some kind of spirited answer to Kristen's thoughtful queries. And that's another way of participating. I'll close this brief video. I don't even want this to go 10 minutes long by just simply telling you something that to me is really important. When I think about technology, one of my questions is, does it make us more human or less? And we can make it more human if we think about it in the way that John Paul II did. Pope John Paul II is Father Gregory's favorite pope, mine too. And not too many people know that in 2002, for the 34th annual World Communication Day, he wrote an elegant homily on the internet and technology and the points of intersection that it can create. He, with some reservation and qualification, more or less comes forward and says, you know what, the internet is a fantastic way to spread news of the truth of Christ, of the Christian claim. And I will end this video right now with a little quote from that homily that he gave. Great to see you. Great to be seen. Looking forward to being with you at our next gift night. We're going to make it just as good as we possibly can. May God bless and keep you always and your families forever. See ya soon.